Hello my loves. So I'm gonna be trying something new. We're playing in the sandbox with my videos and kind of what I'm up to. I get so many questions from you guys asking for advice, and so I also get questions about some of my makeup looks, so I thought I would combine them. I guess like a Dear CeCe chit chat advice makeup video. So let's jump right in. This message was sent to me in my DM folder on Instagram. So if you want me to answer a question, feel free to slide in my DMs on Instagram. Send me a note with your question and I'm happy to answer it in one of these makeup chit chats. We'll have to think of a name for these. She says, "Hi CeCe, I'm the mom of an 18-year-old wonderful lady and I need your advice about her size and what I should or shouldn't do. She's 5'9", she weighs 205 pounds, she's a very talented singer and has done numerous musical theater numbers, which is her dream. She wants to also work as a missionary, which I'm proud of, and somehow combine her two loves, maybe doing plays for kids or something in the mission field. Anyway, the talent is there and she's very beautiful. I do wish that she would want to lose weight though. Whenever I bring it up, she gets upset, of course, so I don't. Her dad, my husband, is more hurtful and will tell her to stop eating so much. I want to be the kind mom that it doesn't bother. I guess she's saying that she doesn't want her daughter's weight to bother her. But in truth, it does. She cries in the dressing room, trying on clothes because I have to go out to get her bigger sizes. I say very little, but I know she knows how I feel. I certainly don't want to be like her dad. When she's talked about it, it's as if she's an activist. I'm fine, I don't need to lose weight. I just shut up and I give her a hug and I tell her I love her. I know no matter what I do, it's wrong. I wish her weight didn't bother me. She loses parts in plays. I've talked about my journey with musical theater and being plus size and not getting parts because of my weight. So that's what she's referencing here. So she says, just like you, she's lost parts in plays. The director hasn't come out and said so, but it's been insinuated. She's leaving for college soon and I want to make her to make a good first impression. She's majoring in theater education and I want her to get all the parts she wants. I want her to live her dream. I want her to meet a nice boy. I don't care how her weight reflects on me. It's not my motive. I just know no matter how unfair, even Christian colleges are shallow about appearances, and so are directors. My super rotten mom that needs to shut up and never bring it up again and let things be, I want her to be happy, and I don't think that she is. I think she believes losing weight might be too hard, so she just doesn't, and I know that her dad has deeply wounded her. I feel like leaving him sometimes. What should I do? Nothing? Something? Just love her and shut up about her weight? Thanks for any advice. And I can take it if you want to get down on me. I just don't know how to stop feeling the way I do. Okay, Mom, that's an intense letter. Oh my gosh, so much going on. So I'm gonna jump in, and while I do my makeup, we can talk about it. I've actually had this question before. I have a post, this was before I did YouTube. I have a post on my blog called, should I tell my teenage daughter to lose weight, right? And it's a tricky thing. I know that moms want the best for their kids. Like, I get that. And I know that obviously weight is a touchy subject for anybody. The thing that stuck out to me with your letter is that it said so much, like, there was so much like I, me, how I feel, how it affects me. Like, you kept kind of mentioning how your daughter's weight was affecting you or how you felt about it or what you wanted. And I think that's something that I would kind of check a little bit. Like, I know you're saying that you just want her to be happy, but is it really that you want her to be happy or that you want her to be happy in the way that you think she'll be happy, right? I was a plus size teenager. I was a 10-pound baby. I've always been plus size. So my parents had to figure out, how to love me and how to encourage me and make sure that I felt loved at any size. Not only was I a plus size teen, but I was a plus size black girl in, an all white performing arts high school, trying to do musical theater, trying to live out my dreams. So just a little background that the mom knows that you guys may or may not know. I always grew up performing and doing musical theater, and that's why I actually moved to New York to pursue that. But I have had some really painful experiences at the hands of directors in high school who were mean to me and told me that even though I was the best for the part, that it's just unbelievable that a girl of my size would do certain things in these plays, if that makes sense. So they'd be like, it's unrealistic for you to play that character because you're really big. Not you're not talented enough, not you're not good enough. And like, so that was a really wounding experience for me. This lawn comb is kind of amazing. I'll get into it. I'm linking all the products that I'm using in the description box below. So I've been there. I've been the girl that wanted to do musical theater, and I've been the girl that wanted to be on stage, and I've been the girl who wanted to do all that and was bigger than the other girls. And yeah, a lot gets held back, but your job as her mom is to just love her, right? And your job as her mom isn't to decide what will make her ultimately happy. Her happiness, she could lose 1,000 pounds. She could be the skinniest person ever. And if she's not happy with who she is, and if she doesn't understand that she is loved and lovable and valued and valuable, like, it won't change anything. So to me, one of the things that I would focus on for you guys and your family and your situation. So I'm combining that lawn comb, here on my hand. And I'm also gonna mix in this Infallible by L'Oreal. So one of the things that I would focus on in your family would be how she feels about herself, regardless of the weight, right? Like, I would kind of take a step back and I would say, gosh, you know, your dad is making you feel some type of way about yourself. And you said that her dad has deeply wounded her. I think as we get older, I'm mixing one more thing in with this foundation. So I've mixed the two, and then I'm gonna mix a little bit of this MAC BB cream. So I think something that I know now that I'm older is that, like, the stuff that happens to you when you're younger, like, it sticks with you, you know what I mean? And so you're in a position where you have a daughter that's coming up when body positivity is in the air. If there's a chance for your daughter to grow up and not feel like her value is defined by her body, it's now. And if there's somebody who could cultivate that in her, it's you. Like, you're the person who sees that, right? You're the person who sees how hurt she is. You're the person who sees what her dad has said to her. You're the person who sees how she feels in the dressing room. But like, none of that will go away with just the scale changing. Like, that's not how this whole thing works. That's why you will have people who go on a weight loss journey and end up on the other side of the spectrum and like anorexia and bulimia, because if you're not dealing with your actual core, like, true happiness, then you're not dealing with what's making you not be the best person you can be, whatever that looks like. Maybe the best person she can be is a person that loses weight, but her struggles are not just about eating less and the scale and food and working out. Like, that's not what it's all about. Any of us that are not operating at our ideal self, like, if we are not at our best self, it's because there's something deeper going on. Like, that's all of us, myself included. And so I think, like, with the internet, with people who share their stories, like, this is the best time for you to be able to really talk to your daughter about who she is and like who she wants to be, especially right before she goes to college, right? So my advice to you would be to start having those conversations with her. Like, take the weight off the table. It is what it is. It might be the thing that you feel like is the game changer, but I'm telling you right now, if she doesn't love herself, if she doesn't feel like her dad loves her, if she doesn't feel like you love her, or if she feels like you guys will only love her if she is a certain weight or size, then all the work that you're trying to do is pretty much for nothing. Honestly, that's just the truth. Because I've been way skinnier and way unhappier because I didn't deal with what was really going on with me. I think that when it comes to when it comes to talking to kids about their weight, especially when they're young, like, I think for me, I don't think it's a conversation that has to be off limits, but I think it can't be the only thing that you talk to her about. Like, if you're only talking to her about her weight and you're not talking to her about how she feels about herself or how she kind of, like, I don't know, like the bigger and deeper goals, like you can be plus size and successful. Like, that can happen. You know what I mean? So this is kind of weird because usually I think through my advice and then I just talk, but because I get all this time to do makeup, I can kind of bounce around. I hope I'm not rambling too much and I hope it all makes sense. So you guys will have to let me know. You know, for me, I'll go a little deeper into the musical theater story for me. I was 17. We were doing a play at my school called Zombie Prom. Everybody was so excited to do this play because it was like, it had never been done on the West Coast before. It was like this whole like big deal at the school. And there was this role of the school teacher, like the head school teacher. And everyone pretty much thought that the part was mine. Like, they were like, oh, CeCe, like, you're perfect for that part. It's gonna be awesome. I rehearsed all summer for this part. And in the end, I could tell that it was between me and one other girl, just by the way the audition process was going. I could tell that it was between me and one other girl. So I, hands down, was a better singer than she was. Like, that's just a fact. It's not me being arrogant. I just was a better singer and everybody kind of knew that. And it was musical theater and she had like all of these musical numbers. Like, this part had all of these musical numbers. So I was like, I am nailing this. Like, I'm doing it. I've been practicing. I know all the songs. I know everything. And then when the casting list went up, I didn't get the part. So I was so upset. I was so, I think that was the first time when I felt like I didn't feel arrogant to say like, whoa, like that part should have been mine. So I was really upset, and my parents, this is lipstick, by the way. Do you want, I don't know, should I do, I don't know what you guys want beauty wise, but I'm contouring with lipstick, just FYI. So my parents were like, well, why don't you talk to the director? Mind you, this is high school, right? I'm like 16, 17 years old. Why don't you talk to the director and ask him, you know, what you could have done better to get the part? I did that. I went in to his studio where he held rehearsals and stuff before like a class, like in between classes. And I was like, hi, Mr. I won't name his name, Mr. So-and-so. I was wondering, you know, I felt like I did it well on my audition. Is there anything that I could do better so that I can get the part, you know, the next part that I'm up for? And he was like, oh no, you were perfect for the role. Like, you were the better person. But there's a line in the play where they talk about how she was in the back of a Studebaker car making love, and it's just unrealistic that a girl of your size would fit in the back of a car like that. So that is what I grew up with. Like, you can be talented, you could be the best, but if there's one little random line that just doesn't fit, or if there's any excuse that we can use your body to cheat you out of something, we'll do it. That was the message that I kind of got from that experience. So I totally understand when it comes to wanting to put yourself in the forefront and people are not responsive to you because of, sorry, this is blush. MAC blush. When people are not responsive to you and when people ignore your talents because of your weight, it's awful. Like, it feels terrible. And then, you know, I moved to New York City to be part of a musical theater conservatory, right? So you know, my parents spent a pretty penny on my education. And then when I started auditioning, it was like, if I wasn't, you know, playing the grandma, then I wasn't getting roles. So, you know, what your daughter's going through is a real thing when it comes to theater and putting yourself in the forefront. But there's a cool part to this story too, right? The cool part is that when I took a step back from acting, when I took a step back from theater, sorry, this is the Missy Lynn highlighter, so I'm using this one right here. When I took a step back from theater, when I took a step back from acting, when I started to just walk in my own path and kind of become the person I wanted to be, when I started blogging about my experiences as a plus size girl, when I started doing YouTube, when I started just opening up to the world on my own terms, then the world opened up to me. Does that make sense? Like, I just started to talk about who I was and what was going on with me, and I didn't wait for somebody else to approve it. I just started blogging and doing whatever, and guess what? I get emails from casting directors all the time. I take phone calls with major TV networks all the time. I haven't seen a project that was a fit for me yet, like it hasn't quite worked out, but those doors that I was banging on as an actress, like, come on, like, I know I'm plus size, but I'm talented, please pick me. I was doing that for years, and I did well, you know what I mean? Like, I was a working actor, but I didn't get to that next level of success that I see now, when instead I stepped back and said, you know what? I'm gonna create my own space, and I'm gonna do my own thing, and then I'm gonna accept myself and not wait for someone else to accept me. When I did that, then suddenly the doors that were never really open to me are opening because people see my talent because I'm putting it out there. Does that make sense? I think it's really hard to wrap your head around the fact that sometimes you don't need other people's approval to live the life that you want, right? That's why my whole life's motto, oh, I'm using blush, this blush right here from this e.l.f. palette to do my crease. I've been liking that color lately, I don't know. And I'm doing my makeup all out of order because I'm like thinking and talking, so it's kind of weird, but whatever. I have been, what was I trying to say? My whole motto is don't wait on your weight to live your life, right? And the more that I do that, the more success that I find. So if you are going to pigeonhole your daughter into a position where her success only comes as her weight goes down, you are blocking your daughter's success. It's you doing that. Your job as the mom is to tell her that she can do anything and she can figure out how to do it on her own terms. You told me that she's talented. You told me that she has what it takes. So your job is to cultivate the things that she does have, not to harp on the things that she potentially could change. Does that make sense what I'm saying? Like, your job, the world is gonna tell her to change. The world is gonna tell her that she's not enough. The world is gonna tell her that she's not good enough and not valuable enough, and that she's not gonna find love, and that the world, everything's superficial. That's what the world is gonna do. We've all experienced that, we all know that. But when we love people, it's our job to be their biggest cheerleader and to say, if there's anybody that's gonna break the mold, it's gonna be you. If there's anybody who could make their dreams come true no matter what, if there's anybody who's gonna change the way life is, who's gonna shake it up, if there's anybody who can be the exception, it's you. Like, that's the message you should be giving your daughter. And I feel like that's the message that you could even come to your husband with. Like, you know what? We've got a rock star kid. Why are we the ones being down on her the most? We should be cheering her on. Cultivate the good in her. You know what I mean? Like, don't focus on what could potentially change, because it could change today and be back tomorrow. And if you're then convincing her that, like, it's only gonna you know, work in her favor if she looks a certain way, that's a hard setup. I don't think any of us have always looked the same. I don't think any of us have always weighed the same, you know? So you're setting herself up for failure already. That being said, you know, we all want to be the best that we could be. But that's why I started off with, like, making your daughter happy, you know? Like, I feel like when I am happy, then treating my body well and doing, this is the Anastasia brow powder duo here, and I've got this Sephora brush in number 20. Sorry, my camera battery was dying, so I had to charge it a little bit before I continued. But I would love for you guys to hop in the comments and give your thoughts. If you have been that girl, if you've been that mom. I mean, I don't have kids, but I was a kid, and I thank God had great parents, you know, raised me as a plus size girl without any major, I mean, obviously I have issues like we all do, but they were my biggest cheerleaders no matter what my size was. So I feel like the way they raised me is kind of like, if I hear people saying that they would do something, that they're saying something to their kids or whatever that I just could never see my parents saying to me, that's just kind of my rule of thumb. Like, my parents would never do that. Please don't do that. And my parents were good parents, and they worked hard to make sure that I was well acclimated as a kid. They did their best, and they looked out for me, you know what I mean? So I feel like you gotta look out for your kids. That's more or less how I feel. And if you're just repeating what the world is saying to them, that's not looking out for them, because they don't need to hear it from the people that love them the most. Leave your comments with what you think about this video, with what you think about the mom's question, with what you think about my answers, with what you would tell your kid, with what you wish your parents would tell you. Also, don't forget to leave a note of encouragement for the teenagers who follow me. Like, I know there are some high school kids that are subscribers of mine, so I'm hoping that this note resonates with them as well. And if there's something that you wish someone had told you as a plus size teenager, leave that in the comments. Like, we can all encourage each other. Have a better day. Because body positivity is like the best thing that ever happened to me, but it happened to me when I was like just finishing college, not when I was in high school, when I felt like ugly and crazy and that nobody, you know, whatever, that my life wouldn't be good unless I lost weight. I guess I went a long time with those thoughts, and if any of us could encourage someone else to know that your weight isn't indicative, your value and your lovability and your life and how things are going to work out has nothing to do with your weight. It has to do with how you feel about yourself. And once you can get a good handle on that, then everything falls into place. Your weight, your life, your love life, your career, like it all does. And for me, that's like what's slowly happening. Like, my career is falling into place because I'm owning who I am and not being ashamed of that. And I can't wait to see how the rest of my life unfolds as I continue to like unpack that and explore that. Does that make sense? I love you guys. Thanks for watching this whole video if you did. Again, if you want to hit me up on Instagram, please follow me and then send me any questions that you have, and we'll talk more in the next Dear CeCe chit chat makeup conversation. All right, thanks. Talk to you guys later. Mwah. Don't worry, I spent a lot of time after this video blending and such, but my camera kept dying, so I wasn't able to show you everything. Do let me know in the comments if you like this type of video series. I'd love to hear your thoughts and any advice you have for anyone in the same situation. Oh my gosh, I didn't even put on mascara.